I believe like with my sport, because of the amount of people that are involved in it, you know, you're not just fighting the other guy that was trained by the other coach over there on the other side of the ring. You know, you're also fighting the referee. You're also fighting the judges. You're also fighting the fans around, you know, the friends, the family, the ones that are booing at you. You suck, and trying to get in your head while you're like 9 years old. You know, we're just kids learning and fighting. What that did for me, it made me who I am in every aspect of life.
Pressure can create greatness, but it can also expose weaknesses. Teofimo Lopez has always competed with the urgency of someone chasing a defining moment, bringing intensity, speed, and strong confidence every time he steps in.
What's up? Oh my God.
My father said, you gotta be an entertainer. He was seeing everybody else, all the other kids. He knew I could beat every kid. However, he just wanted to add a little bit more sauce into me. And what was it? He said, be different, have fun, enjoy yourself, entertain. And I always had that in me. I started boxing at the age of 6, officially. But before that, my father had me fighting and doing Taekwondo at 2 years old. So let's say from 2 all the way to 17, for 15 years, I didn't know where I was going. I didn't believe in myself like my father did. I did not. What my father instilled with me, and it stuck with me, were a lot of things that I could really say that has improved my living. Don't get hit. He always told me that. He's like, you know how to box, you know how to do this, just don't get hit. All he had to say was don't get hit, and I already knew what that meant.
Yeah. 1, 2. Right hand again. Give me that right hand, baby. Give me that right hand. Don't show it. Don't show it. Okay, go. Go. Come over here. Too fast for me. Go. Come Jack. That's it.
From the Olympic stage to championship success, his journey has carried a constant sense of urgency, as if he was never meant to stay in one spot for long. He pushed for this matchup because Shakur embodies the one element Teofimo cannot simply overpower with emotion: control.
Get up here. That's what we've been waiting for, man. Working on drills, foot drills, hand-eye reaction, everything. You know, my guy, TA, Go Feet Formula, that's what's about to happen right now. I'm about to enter the whole matrix.
That's my boy. He was the one that started it. That's my boy.
So like, you know, we already here. Fight week is on, and we at the UFC Facility Center. I've never seen him this great since right after the Olympics when he turned pro. Like, very explosive. Now it's a take back, and we just trying to focus on that and going to the next level, man, and taking over the 140 weight division. And that's what we focus on right now.
Their journeys intersected long ago, both coming from the Olympic stage and shaped with championship expectations. They were always mentioned together, yet never shared the ring, like parallel tracks waiting for the moment they finally meet. Teofimo's approach relies on explosive movement and bold self-belief, with sudden attacks that can change a round in an instant. He is the type of fighter who thrives on rhythm and feeds off his opponent's reactions.
So it's really just trying to just keep it going, you know, keep moving forward throughout the whole time and throughout the whole process, and mainly just have fun with it. You know, you gotta have fun with what you do. You know, I love this. You know, I haven't stopped doing what I've done because of the fact that I enjoy what I do. You know, this has been 20 years in the making, 20 years in this, you know, and I have so much to do and so much to prove within myself. So mentally, I'm prepared. Physically, I'm more than ready. You know, and emotionally, I'm on fire. You know, I'm on fire with it, you know, because all I ever did was try to be great, you know, and it's no longer trying. I am, you know, I am great. And it's all about just continuing and holding that. So it's all about just staying humble throughout the process, keeping myself level-headed, and really just enjoying each day that we get, because tomorrow's never.
At his best, like in his wins over Lomachenko and Josh Taylor, he appears nearly impossible to deal with, precise, inventive, and bold, pushing opponents to match his pace. For the Stevenson matchup, Teofimo has been working closely with his father, Lopez Sr., putting daily emphasis on structure rounds, discipline, and sharper combination work. That captures the Teofimo profile. High-level ability mixed with risk, skill that can lead to major victories or fall apart quickly, always pursuing moments that transform a contest into a statement.
I'll tell you like this, a lot of these people, they're so ambitious, and it's okay to be, you have to. But the thing is, sometimes you don't get it because you're probably not going to carry it the right way. You're probably not going to be a people's champ. You're probably just going to spend all your money, like a lot of these fighters do, on yourself rather than giving back. You know, it's all about being a people's champ. Muhammad Ali was the greatest of all time for those things, you know, and he made a strong impact in the sport.
True mastery doesn't need noise. It shows up through steady consistency. Shakur Stevenson has approached this fight as if it were part of a long plan, advancing carefully without forcing the pace or losing direction. Like his opponent, he comes from the Olympic stage, but his mindset is different. Shakur understood early on that success in the ring favors those who process the action quickly and stay mentally sharp. This matchup has been building over time because he doesn't run after big names. They eventually come to him. And Teofimo has long been the most vocal test in that space.
I like how he stay long and keep that angle.
Yeah,
Keep his head on the
position,
fucking
man,
line.
just in case. Especially with somebody fast like him with timing. You can't be out of position. You got that.
He strong as hell. He picked me up in there. It was fun though. Just to be in the ring with him, share the ring with him, test his IQ out a little bit, see some of the moves he doing, that I'm gonna go take with me when I go fight. So I appreciate Dre.
You gonna run it back again?
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
Shakur's approach is built on removing what his opponents rely on, shrinking the space, limiting choices, and chipping away at confidence until they are left missing and second-guessing their timing. He is not chasing single flashes. He focuses on full rounds, building control with precise shots, smart counters, and movement that feels impossible to track once you're trying to follow it. Throughout his journey, Shakur has surrounded himself with top-level knowledge, learning from figures such as Andre Ward, Roy Jones Jr., Floyd Mayweather, and Terrence Crawford. That mix of influence has helped shape how he is preparing for Lopez. Setbacks have not shaped his story because he rarely makes the same mistake twice. He studies, sharpens his craft, and returns more precise. Shakur is drawn to this matchup because Teofimo brings unpredictability, and Shakur has built his reputation on showing that even the most gifted chaos can be figured out.
It's looking bad today. That's how it's looking. Cool gonna break some and if he don't break some shit, he gonna beat the fuck out of him. Over this. Oh, nice. Good in reverse.
We don't care who it is. We have no friends. Shakur, if his cousin get in the ring, he gonna get this smoke. If his brother get in the ring, he gonna get this smoke. We have no friends. Strictly business.
Tarver described the matchup as a strategic battle dressed up to look like a fight, and that idea makes sense. He kept circling back to a simple point. If Shakur manages the range and commands the middle of the ring, he takes control. But if Teofimo creates bursts and shortens the distance, the direction of the night can shift. Tarver also emphasized the details people often overlook during bold predictions, like conditioning, mental discipline, and the everyday habits that keep a fighter prepared.
If you see Shakur controlling the distance, giving him angles, keeping that fight sort of in the middle, you gotta favor Shakur. But if he's on the back foot, if he's on the ropes, I mean, that's going to give Teofimo a lot of opportunity.
And that becomes even more important when the late rounds start to feel critical. He described Teofimo as a fighter who strings punches together, able to turn a sharp combination into a difficult situation quickly. That is why Tarver cautioned that Teofimo needs to apply pressure in controlled bursts rather than rushing in recklessly, because otherwise Shakur could pick him apart and make it a long, frustrating night.
What makes Teofimo, I believe, dangerous in this fight, he throws both hands in succession. He's a combination type puncher, and that always serves well if you got a real slick defensive fighter in there.
Tarver also pointed to past performances, noting that when Teofimo stepped up against Lomachenko or Josh Taylor, he fought at a completely different level. He believes the only version of Teofimo that can defeat Shakur is that fully locked in, purposeful, and aggressive form that uses smart footwork to close distance. At the same time, he emphasized that Shakur possesses the skills to stay composed and operate like the more calculated strategist in the ring.
Like I said, could be, leaning toward becoming the face of boxing, because with Shakur being undefeated, having a big name like Teofimo Lopez on his record, he's going to have to then.
Timing, counters, and the ability to carry power at 140 pounds all matter here. When Shakur fights like he did against Zapata, he elevates the game and makes ordinary opponents look basic. Tarver's takeaway is simple. Trust the boxer if the strategy works, respect the fighter if Teofimo takes over, and recognize that this fight represents a pivotal moment for both men.
Put him in there with all these big names and see, can he beat one or two more guys and become the real fighter, the king around that 140, 147 division. There's a lot of action there, Mark.
Right after Tarver broke down how Teofimo needs to bring his top game just to challenge Shakur, Wade Plemons stepped back and put the matchup in perspective. He bluntly called it best versus best in their prime, something boxing rarely gets without a decade of build-up. Wade kept emphasizing that this fight isn't about trophies or belts sitting on shelves. It's about timing. I agree. These two have circled each other since their amateur days, and now there's nowhere left to hide.
Shakur has the same opportunity. This is Shakur's toughest test, no doubt about it. The Williams-Zepeda fight was a tough test because of the style of fight that Zepeda brings, but Zepeda is not the boxer that Teofimo Lopez is. It's just not even close to the same category of boxing ability, technique, skill, experience, higher level. Like, it's not even close. So Shakur is going to have to answer those questions as well. If he believes, and he does, that he's the best in the world, this is...
When Wade talked about the face-off being the first mental exchange, I liked that he wasn't looking for stage drama. He focused on posture, eye contact, and who was thinking through the questions rather than just talking to the interviewer, because that's where the real mindset shows. He made a key observation. Teofimo actually respects Shakur's boxing, his movement, his ability to work inside and out, and that's crucial because fighters who underestimate opponents get exposed, while those who respect them prepare properly. Wade also challenged a common boxing mindset, pointing out that the sport obsessively values perfect records and shiny belts over the quality of opponents defeated. That resonates because Teofimo has already proven he takes on the top names, fighting Lomachenko, Taylor, and anyone dangerous.
Traps for Teo in the fight continuously, and then eventually turn the temperature down on Teo and essentially try to starve him, right? Starve him of punches, starve him of volume, starve him of momentum and rhythm, right? Like, Teo's a big-time rhythm.
Teofimo is clearly a high-level rhythm fighter, but Wade didn't give Shakur a free pass either. He said plainly, this is Shakur's defining moment, the fight where you don't just show skill, you prove it against someone who can punch back and think. When Wade addressed the move up to 140 pounds, you could sense the doubt, but it wasn't hate. This is reality, not theory. The funniest part was when he pointed out that styles make fights and warned against comparing Zapata to Teofimo, calling that kind of thinking boxing delusion. Wade framed it perfectly. This bout isn't about trash talk or social media hype. It's about whether Shakur's control can withstand a fighter who refuses to be contained, and whether Teofimo's aggression can stay disciplined long enough to matter. That isn't hype, that's real pressure, and pressure always exposes the truth.
With his movement, once he gets in that flow, it's a little bit tough to stop that ball rolling down the hill. If Shakur can just be an interrupter in this fight and interrupt timing, interrupt rhythm, interrupt momentum, I could see that being the way he wants to approach it and frustrating.
Right after Wade framed the fight around timing, ego, and who's truly ready for the moment, Breadman Edwards stepped in as the calm, experienced voice, like someone who's seen this story play out before and knows where the surprises come. He basically said, "Take it easy on the disrespect, because assuming Shakur will just stroll through Teofimo is how people end up embarrassed later." He acknowledged what's obvious. Shakur's consistency is elite, delivering the same high level every fight with no surprises. That reliability is why the odds often favor him. But then Breadman flipped it, showing why Teofimo becomes a dangerous challenge when he's on point, combining athleticism, explosiveness, and confidence to create a matchup that can get frightening very quickly.
You a basketball analogy. Shakur Stevenson averaged about 25 points a game, right? But every game he scored about 23, 24, 27, 28. He just have a good baseline. With Teofimo averaged about 22 points a game. Some games he only have 10, but other games he got 50.
Gotcha.
You understand what I'm trying to